All of these things that are happening are making it difficult to find predictability because the mints are running at full speed, but instead of only having a couple of us knocking on their door, they have the whole world knocking on their door. And I think that is really one of the things that is most illuminating. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but I even had a broker from JP Morgan call me today to talk about physical metal. So, we're seeing things that I never thought we would see in my lifetime. We are seeing, including employees of commercial banks calling to buy physical metal.
This is Dunnigan Kaiser, founder of Liberty and Finance. I'm now a licensed gold and silver dealer with Miles Franklin. Call me directly for the physical gold and silver that you need at the best price with personalized, private service from one of the oldest and best respected companies in the business. 30 years strong, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, 0 complaints, licensed and bonded, insured delivery or vault storage or IRAs, excellent prices, privacy and confidentiality, pay by check, money order, ACH or wire, satisfaction guaranteed. Call me directly at 419-819-9209 or my associate at 310-562-6400 or email us at kaiser@milesfranklin.com.
Welcome back to Liberty and Finance. We have a midweek update here. We didn't get Andy Schectman last week because he'll explain why, but he's here this week and we're doing audio only. He'll explain why. So Andy, thanks for joining us again here this Tuesday, April 27, 2021 for our weekly market update.
Oh, it's so good to be here with you, Dunnigan. Thank you for having me, and thank you for your patience and understanding while I traverse the entire country, moving my family from Minneapolis to Florida. 2-day drive, about 13 hours a day behind the wheel, and we're here in Florida now, and it's the whirlwind hasn't stopped as we're trying to get everything, trying to figure out how to turn the lights on half the stuff. And but anyways, we don't even have our internet hooked up yet, which all of this stuff comes later in the week. So I appreciate so much your flexibility in working with me this way. I do very much.
Absolutely, yeah. We missed you last week because people were asking, "Hey, where's no Andy? Where's Andy?" So I explained you had some house closings and in the middle of a move. So we're glad to get a few minutes from you tonight, and just wanted you to
Absolutely.
give people an update because I even had a client asking me today, "What's going on in the silver market? What's going on in the retail?" Supply, demand, and supply chain situation. We always look to you for an insider's view, and you've been giving us those updates in the past. Could you tell us what, in the last 2 weeks, and especially now recently, currently, and looking ahead, what you're seeing in the silver retail and overall market supply, demand, and supply chain?
Yeah, one of the things that I talked about with you, Dunnigan, and I seem to get on a couple other sites, these interviews were picked up, and I got a little bit of heat for it, talking about the U.S. Mint shutting down. So whether they have officially shut down or not, I'll tell you they haven't produced any coins in, 3-4 weeks. So in my mind, they're shut down. Premiums on gold and silver eagles and gold buffaloes are as high as I've ever seen them, especially, ever, literally in 31 years. Mm-hmm. Even in the craziness that was last March, premiums are as high as I have ever recognized them. Getting product is becoming more and more and more and more challenging. And I often have said to you, going back to 2020, that I firmly believe that the market will define itself by an inability to source product. I'm an old, I say a lot of the same things. I try to be sincere. I'm not a genius. I've been around the block, and I've seen it before. And I've seen the U.S. Mint and the Canadian Mint. These mints are inefficient. They're inefficient because they are used to an influx of supply that is, as we've talked about before, been, 0.5% on average allocation for everyone in the country. These numbers are increasing. People are waking up. People are afraid. They are running to precious metals, and the mints cannot keep up with it. And they've become, I think, incredibly frazzled and inefficient. More inefficient than I've ever seen it because, when we were dealing with product shortages over the last several years, it was with 0.5% allocation. Now, let me put you this way. Now we've done a year's worth of business in the first 3 months of the year. I mean, for all of 2016, 17, 18, 19, we've done literally a year's worth of business in 3 months. And we're just one company. And so I will tell you that, we talk about silver as being demanded industrially. We've talked about all of the things, including the Chinese Belt Road and Rail Initiative, which will connect 70% of the human population digitally. We've talked about all of the green new agenda ramifications for silver. But what's really startling to me, Dunnigan, is the craziness that is the awakening globally about what's happening on the monetary side. And you've had John Adams on, who's done an amazing job of waking up the other side of the globe. They're all talking about metals, mostly silver. And as a result, this awakening is pushing us away from that 0.5% allocation, much closer to the 2.5% average that Rick Rule has talked about over the last 40 years, from 8% in 1980 to 0.5% in 2020, with the average being 2.5%. And as we've talked about, that's a 5-fold increase in demand. And I'm telling you, we're not too far away from it. It's happening. And as that happens, the mints, because of their recency bias, because of their inability to see that coming, are massively struggling. And you throw on top of it all of the buzz in the industry about the problems associated with unallocated pool accounts. People are every day calling us to close out unallocated accounts in a frenzy, just completely freaked out. And these pooled accounts typically are very large transactions. 100,000 ounces is not unusual.
Just to clarify, people who would be reaching out to us are not asking us to close any account because we don't have any unallocated accounts. You mean that they're asking us for physicals because they want to get out of their unallocated account somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm not passing judgment on Perth or on Kitco or on any of the places that are being talked about. I'm just simply saying people are calling us and simply saying, I have a pooled account. I'm frightened. I have 100,000 ounces there. I want real coins. Well, that's why you're seeing $10 to $11 premiums on silver eagles, to $7 premiums on silver maple leafs, and very uncertain in terms of just how quickly orders are going to get filled, where it's coming from. Where does the next shipment come from? Then again, I'm being as honest as I humanly possibly can, as sincere. This market is only going to get crazier if things continue down the path that we are heading. And as the world looks to divest from fiat currency into historical wealth, it's only going to become more and more and more of an issue. And I will hold true to everything I've said to you for the last year. This is happening, and it's happening a whole lot faster than I thought it would. And I'll tell you, it is the single biggest challenge we face as a precious metals company, is continuing to get supply coming in on a regular basis. And as I've said before, you have to buy so far in advance. You have to pay so much higher than you've ever paid, and hope that your order gets filled by the big suppliers, whom we're very, very friendly with and very high up on the food chain, and the sovereign mints and all of the connections that we have are certainly coming in handy, had for the last year and a half, roughly. But I'll tell you, honestly, it is becoming the single biggest challenge we face, and I see no signs of it letting up. Truthfully, none.
In the face of that, people who are trying to get ahead of the silver rush that's happening are finding that they're experiencing delays. We've talked about this before. You said we're seeing delays from the mints to us. We're seeing delays just in the physicality of trying to get sheer volumes packaged and out the door. So sometimes people it can be a frustrating buying experience for people who want predictability. Some people, they may be first timers, or they may be old timers who feel like it used to be easy for the past decade and to get your metals, and now they're finding it's not as easy. They're seeing delays on both various parts of the supply chain impacting their orders. Any words to the wise?
Yeah, so glad you asked that question. Managing expectations is very difficult. We placed an order for $20 million for silver coins. We're told we'll have them in 2 weeks, and they call and say, sorry, it'll be on next week's truck. It's 3 weeks. That 1 week period is enough to drive someone over the edge. Me, in terms of having to talk to, the thousands of people who placed orders and literally try to tell them, no, we're not cheating you. This is what's happening. And this is the stuff that at least I can take salvation in, knowing that I've talked about this to your listeners now for over a year. And a lot of times I feel my wife will say, you got to say something different, Andy. And I'll say, listen, this is what is important. These things are the only thing that matter. Look, the big banks are buying gold. Gold was reclassified. Silver has massive industrial uses. You cannot find it. There's a waking of the population. People are buying it. I mean, there's about 5 or 6 or 7 things that I focus on entirely. You know, we've talked about the wealthy people buying it. All of the metal being drained off of COMEX. We talked about that over and over and over again. Huge deliveries coming off of COMEX. Huge deliveries coming off of exchange for physical. All of these things that are happening are making it difficult to find predictability, because the mints are running at full speed, but instead of only having a couple of us knocking on their door, they have the whole world knocking on their door. And I think that is really one of the things that is most illuminating. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but I even had a broker from JP Morgan call me today to talk about physical metal. So, you know, we're seeing things that I never thought we would see in my lifetime. We are seeing, including employees of commercial banks calling to buy physical metal. I've
had multiple money managers calling me to purchase physical metal and to ask for how they can put their clients in touch with me who want to acquire physical metal. They said in the past, the easy answer for their clients who brought it up would be to tell them to buy, you know, ETFs like SLV or that sort of thing, or GLD. Yep. And now they're realizing, thank goodness they're realizing that that's not the right answer if they really want to help people protect themselves.
Well, look at that in context, Dunnigan. SLV forever has been the largest or the second largest stockpile of silver in the world. So take a very small percentage of its holders who have been affected by the information that is being floated around the industry, and talking about the questions centering pooled and unallocated programs. And that is having far-reaching ramifications, hugely. And, you know, when we get 50,000 coins from a delivery, that's a ton. We have had several people call with 2 to 3 times that in unallocated pooled accounts that are trying to convert those immediately, into physical, and that wipes out your entire allocation. And now what? So that's what I'm getting at. Look, it wasn't too long ago we were selling bags of junk silver on your show to your listeners for $1.39 over. And now, you know, you can't even hardly find it. And if you do, it's $6, $7 over. There are things that always were in terms of normal are no longer normal. Things that always were in terms of getting product and doing it in an expedient fashion, and I mean, these things are gone. And do they come back? I don't know. I will tell you that it's just so hard to try to put it into a context, what it's really like. All I can simply tell you is that the level of interest in physical precious metals is many times anything I've ever experienced in my career. And I will say this, that it is now transitioning. You know, the last year or so, it was the people who listen to the alternative media. This year, it still is. But now it's transitioning to the people who work with big money managers, who are hearing about this, who are very scared that they have things in a form that isn't directly in their name. And whether it's coming from the alternative media or not, or it's just permeating through the air, things are changing in this industry so much and so quickly. And it all centers around one thing, and that is the inability to source product quickly. So for the people out there who bought product from a reputable dealer, I think you have no problem. But please have a little bit of understanding that, you know, when we do these things, when we purchase these items and we are told we're going to have it in a week, and they come back and say, well, they'll have it next week, you know, we're at their mercy as much as the person who paid for it is too. And it's a very difficult thing to convey to someone in a sincere manner. Because if we look at the opposite side of the coin, I could simply withhold all orders and take none, and so could everyone else in the industry who does the same thing until it's in our warehouse. But what happens to the price by then? Do people want to wait to get their product, or do they want to lock it in? So it's a game of you know what? You have relationships. You pay months in advance. You have POs in your hand from a sovereign mint. It's guaranteed to get to you. And they call you and say, oh, those 50,000 coins will be to you a week late. What do you do? So I would simply say that, yes, it's part of the game. And it's part of the game for being late to the dance. As I've said before, you got to dance with whatever girl is across the gym from you if you come late to the dance. And with all due respect, it's late to the dance, I think. And it's only going to get later. So I don't really know how to answer that any more sincere to that than simply to say it's a problem, because the mints are not transparent and they are not efficient, nor are the refiners. And then you throw into the mix the logistics of having to get all of this stuff, unbox it, box it, and get it out the door. With UPS and USPS and in the world of social distancing and what have you, and the whole thing is just, it's a constant 24-hour-a-day stressor for us. Something we're up to the challenge for. But if anyone would ever cut us a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of slack, or any other company you're working with, no one is cheating you, I'd like to think anyway. None of the big companies are. The legitimate ones are. But we're all facing the same uphill challenges right now.
In the light of that, we're going to be talking about, later tonight, we're going to be recording a large format panel discussion about the rise of the retail investor, as Rick Rule is coining it, which is a good way to say that, and the impact we're anticipating a coming rush. So it's only fair, looking forward, to warn people that we've been told to anticipate a retail investor buying frenzy this weekend, just like we did at the end of January. And I remember my phone melting over that weekend. I'm sure you did as well, besides our brains melting. Yes. But anyway, just let people know, heads up. And I don't know if you wanted to add any words to that before we talk about a weekly special. Yeah,
that is the May Day anniversary, May 1st, I believe, when the price of silver collapsed overnight. I remember I was at a Casey Research convention when it happened on Sunday at around 5 or 6 o'clock, or right when the market opened. It collapsed by 40% maybe. And it was more naked shorting that really, really, back then when that happened, the market never came back. When you look and see what happened February 1st and 2nd, it was at $30 here just a few months ago, and someone sold 1.5 billion ounces at the open. Same tricks. The difference is it's not killing the demand. In fact, it's only shining a light upon the tactics that are being used and are failing, don't have as much firepower as they once did, because back in whenever this happened, 2011 or whenever it was, it didn't come back. And so I guess all I can simply say is that what the Reddit group is doing right now is trying to get everyone on the anniversary of that collapse, of that drive-by shooting, to buy a couple of ounces. So it's all over the Certified Exchange chat boards. The Certified Exchange is a group of roughly 1,500 dealers that comprise the industry, both wholesale and retail. And it's all over it, simply saying, get ready. In fact, my head trader's already called me and said, we better think all week long how long we want to go over the weekend. I talked about over that February.
Oh, when you say how long we want to go, you mean how much you want to anticipate and hedge, not how many hours you want to work.
Sorry, I should be clear.
Yeah.
Yes. We should decide how many ounces futures contracts we want to buy before the close on Friday to give us cushion in case the market gaps up higher. Mm-hmm. Everyone will remember February 1st and 2nd, all of the online companies shut down. We did that Saturday morning. Just to refresh, we had bought 55,000 ounces of silver via 11 COMEX futures contracts on Friday at close, because we were expecting a big up gap and huge demand from the Reddit group and what was going on with GameStop. And anyways, by Saturday morning, we had oversold it by 35,000 ounces. We had sold 90,000 ounces over the evening, which put us into a very naked, exposed position to the open. So we're trying to think about that and not make that same mistake again this week. And he's already talking about it, as are all the wholesalers and all the dealers. And I swear to all of you listening, I swear on everything that's important to me, that he said to me, get ready, premiums are going to go way higher. And so that is what I am being told by the end of the week, that we expect big volume, we expect prices to move higher, and we expect premiums to move higher. Does that mean that all three will happen? Who knows? But I can tell you that's what the industry thinks is going to happen.
Now, in the light of that, I know I'm about to ask you about our weekly special, which we didn't have one last week because we didn't have this weekly market update. But in the past, it's been a real challenge. When we announce a price, we typically announce it to be relative to spot, and then it's been sometimes not too difficult for us to hold that for an entire week. But sometimes, if the market moves strongly against us, we can only hold our sale price for so long. So anyway, with that as a backdrop, can you let us know what you're looking at for a weekly special for this coming week, and knowing that we can do that as long as conditions prevailing allow us to?
I'm glad you said that too, and it is an issue, and we do try to hold it as long as we possibly can, and it's a juggling act. So for this week we have I don't know how many in stock. I think north of 50,000 2021 silver maple leafs, and we will do them at $6.95 over the price of silver. And I think everyone will be hard pressed to find a better price on any quantity at $6.95 anywhere in the United States. And so we'll constantly try to do this best we can. If we were to match a lot of the online companies, we could add 50 cents to that price or more. Instead, we're bettering all of them in any quantity. 2021 silver maple leaf, $6.95 over the price of silver. And yes, we will hold those as long as we can. I know we have some silver Philharmonics that will be live Monday coming. That'll be at a good price also. I don't know exactly what those are at this point right now. But when I asked him about Kangaroos and Britannias and Krugerrands, here again, his comment to me, and look, we've paid for all three of those months ago, and we were told, well, we'll have to see what's on the next week's manifest. It's gotten to the point lately, Dunnigan, where we don't even know what is coming to us until the truck has been loaded and we are told what's on the manifest, all of which we have paid for as long ago as the end of February. So this is what we face every day, trying to continue to get stuff at great prices. And it's worked, but it's becoming more and more challenging. And so I appreciate the way that you phrase these questions, because it's important that people understand what we're trying to do and what is actually happening and how it's playing out.
All right, that's fair enough. And I promise to keep it short with the fact that you just moved and you got to figure out how to turn the lights on in your house, etc. So just appreciate, Andy, you taking these few moments to give us this weekly market update and the weekly market special. We'll put both of those up on all of our channels, YouTube, Rumble, Brighteon, and got exciting news coming in the next week, expanding our Liberty and Finance platform. So folks, stay tuned for that. And Andy, look forward to talking with you later tonight on the large format panel of All-Stars that's going to be on the All-Star Silver panel coming tonight.
I look so forward to it. And heck, Dunnigan, I should be thanking you. I've been just tickled and honored to be associated with fine people like yourself and your family and the whole community that will be on this podcast this evening. And it's a true honor and something I take very, very seriously. And I will look forward to hopefully with some semblance of an office next week, be able to do this on video. But until then, I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. It should be a very, very interesting weekend as we head into the 1st of May. Everyone should buckle up in anticipation of what's coming. I can tell you the industry is. I'm definitely not trying to go on vacation this weekend like I did last time at the end of January. That was that was awakening for me. It was an education is what it was. Well, and the funny thing is that I was on vacation February 1st and 2nd when the last craziness happened, and so here you go. It's just the way that the market is these days. You got to roll with it. But nonetheless, again, much appreciation. Look forward to talking to you again tonight, and thanks. All right, very good. Thank you. We've been speaking with Andy Schectman, the CEO of Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments. Andy, as always, on behalf of all of our viewers, thanks for letting us have this time with you on our weekly market update. Pleasure is certainly mine, Dunnigan.
This is Dunnigan Kaiser, founder of Liberty and Finance. I'm now a licensed gold and silver dealer with Miles Franklin. Call me directly for the physical gold and silver that you need at the best price with personalized, private service from one of the oldest and best respected companies in the business. 30 years strong, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, 0 complaints, licensed and bonded, insured delivery or vault storage or IRAs, excellent prices, privacy and confidentiality, pay by check, money order, ACH or wire, satisfaction guaranteed. Call me directly at 419-819-9209 or my associate at 310-562-6400 or email us at kaiser@milesfranklin.com.